You're listening to Lyfe and Shyt. I'm Daneyel Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
Hey, baby.
What's going on, girl?
How you doing?
Another beautiful day in paradise.
What's going on in your world?
Today was a good day.
Okay.
Wrote my first RFP.
Oh.
Got it done.
What's RFP, baby, for those that don't know? Because I didn't know until you had to write it.
True that. It's called a request for proposal.
Okay.
Right. So if you're searching or looking for a government contract, then they submit an RFP, and you, as the proposer, have to write out whatever it is that they're requesting, and it has to be very detailed for you in order for you to win. So that was for us, and hopefully it works out. I was very excited because the first time I've done it, it was a challenge. It was new, so I was all geeking out about it. So I sent it to a bunch of people. Hey, what do you think about my RFP? Give me your honest feedback. Yeah. And then I sent it to you, and you said you got through it?
About halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah.
So what do you think so far?
So far, it's amazing. It's super professional. It looks great.
Don't blow me up. Don't blow me up. Tell me it was terrible.
First off, I don't have to blow you up, baby. You already know.
You said it was great. I'm like, whoa.
If everyone in this world doesn't have to blow you up, then you know it's me. But when it comes to things like that, it's where you get to show off a little bit, because that's where you're skilled in, and that's where most of your skills lay. So I think that was the time for you to show off, because you're good at that, and you know you're good.
I appreciate it.
You know that you're good at that stuff, so that's just,
Yeah, going after contracts is one of my. I do like going after contracts, so that was cool. Something new, something different for the business, and we'll find out next month. So when we have the show again, we'll talk about whether or not we won that RFP or not. So that'll be dope. Yeah. Super dope. How was your day?
It was good.
Were you ready for me to ask that question? Or were you ready?
I wasn't sure. I was ready to just go into my question this time. I love you. My day was great, babe. Yeah. My day was great. Yeah, it was great. Meeting day. All good. And I made fun of you because I had to call you earlier today because I was at the cafe. Oh yeah. And our supervisor at the cafe, she's a new supervisor, and she was like, so Danielle has these meetings every week with the entire team. Like, it's every Monday she meets with the team. We all know that. Yeah. And we've talked about it before on the podcast. Yeah. So she comes up to me today. I'm just chilling. I'm going in. And she says, "Is Danielle okay?" And I was like, Yeah, she's good. She's like, I hope. Yeah, like, what you hear?
We're like, yeah. You seen her walking in the rain with somebody?
You stupid.
Some Orange Juice Jones kind of shit. For those that don't know, Orange Juice Jones is one of my favorite songs.
Oh boy, his karaoke songs. He sings it often.
It is my karaoke song.
And the woman is seen walking in the rain, just so you know. Yeah,
so,
holding hands.
So she's like, no, because I had a meeting with her, and then she did text me and this and this and that. And I'm a bit advocate. Like, Danielle knows this. We just had a conversation last week about it, where, it's always about putting the people first, and our team is first. So when I heard that, immediately I hopped in the car, and I was like, yo, what happened? Yeah. And then I was like, you're right.
Yeah. Like I said, I had a meeting that's every other Monday, and I rescheduled that meeting, and just so happened rescheduled them right on top of each other. And I was in a space where the meetings were literally right next to each other, where if one meeting ran behind, like, I literally had somebody waiting for me for the next one, So I messed up.
And she told you it was okay?
Yeah, she's like, oh, no worries.
People be lying. For anybody that's out there, if you're a no worries person, because like I'm a no worries person, and legit, if you say no worries, it means there was a worry. Like, oh, no worries. It means don't do the shit again. Like, when I say no worries, it means don't do the shit again.
Now, here's the side note. She, I love her for it. A great employee. She took over shopping for me, right? So usually it's me that's racing to get to her for that meeting, and then she's sitting and she's waiting for me, right? So today she was probably racing because the text said, "Hey, I'm still in line at Office Depot." And I looked Restaurant Depot, and I looked back at maybe 3 weeks ago. I had sent her probably the same message. I'll be running a little bit late, so that's my fault, and I will definitely not do that again. Nice. Definitely not.
As long as you're aware of it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't be in 2 places at one time. So I really need to, like, I don't know.
Scheduling is everything.
Yeah, scheduling is, but shit, man. There's a lot that has to be done. You know what I mean? And it's like, fuck. But yeah, I'm working it out.
All right. What's your question for today?
My question is, who is smarter? Kids that get traditional educations or one that goes to progressive education?
So when you said that, who's smarter? I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Because I'm a traditional education kid. And I look at these kids that go to modern education, and I'd be like, who the fuck taught you?
I think that all of us were pretty much traditional. Well, all of people our age, right? Like homeschools and stuff like that didn't really happen until
homeschool was very rare.
Yeah, now it's not rare, like, right?
But I guess a part of me will say too, like, if you was homeschooled back in when we was growing up, 80s, 90s, if you was homeschooled, you wasn't outside, so we didn't talk to periods anyway. So
yeah, it's true.
It was like, who was homeschool kids?
Yeah, and then they changed it, right, to make it so that if you kids are homeschooled, that they had to go to like the park or they had to go where there's other kids involved, which is cool, right? Because it makes them have to do something with other kids, because it's not cool just to be around a parent all damn day.
Well, I mean, granted, you had to been rich or had some type of real money to be homeschooled in the first place, because both of my parents was at work. So it wasn't no homeschooling. Yeah. But I mean, my school wasn't just in my education just wasn't in school. My education was everything that I experienced from the time I left my door to the time I got back to my door. So the education was very vast, from a traditional standpoint. But when you say who's smarter, it's not about who's smarter, because both of them, you get 2 different worlds. So like right now, if I have the opportunity to raise my kids all over again, I would consider homeschool.
I definitely would consider a different kind of schooling situation, whether it's like progressive, where they go to a different kind of, like where they go to a school where it's based on like projects, or, just different, kind of like maybe do an assessment of what you like and then gear towards that. Those type of schools that they have now. Yeah, I definitely want to send my kids to school like that. I would want to go to school like that.
Yeah, I would even, for like people that's listening right now, for if you have a kid that's being homeschooled or going to what's progressive education or modern education, like whatever you want to call it, right? From when I first heard about it, it was project based schools. Right, so they got all different terms for it nowadays. But I would love to hear, what your sense is on this, because we have 4 kids and now we have a granddaughter, and I look at her like the other day we was in the living room dancing. Like, this kid is off the chain, right? And to me, it's like if you don't have a granddaughter, or if you don't have young nieces and nephews, then you really don't understand this. But when you do, it's like a second chance, right? It's your next at bat.
Yeah.
So our 4 kids all had traditional school. And when you look at traditional school, depending on where you are, it's the same things. It's memorizing, it's reciting, and it's supposed to teach you how to be social, like social skills. That's it.
Yeah.
It don't teach you how to be a critical thinker. It don't teach you about problem solving, because everything is this cookie cutter way of curriculum, where modern education actually does teach you problem solving and critical thinking, because you got to figure shit out.
Yeah, definitely. Traditional education teaches you how to take a test. I remember when I was in school to be an MA, and we did oh gosh, I can't get the word out.
Bloodletting?
Yeah.
You mean your presentation on bloodletting?
No, I wasn't talking about that. Blood draws, right?
Oh, okay.
I can't say the word, damn. Oh, we did blood draws. And I remember there's a lady, and she was very, very smart, could pass any test that you put in front of her. But when it came to actually drawing blood,
like doing
she
shit?
Was horrible, right? She was shaky. She I would let her practice on me, because we had to practice on each other, right? We had to do 100 sticks before we were able to be good. What can I say this word? This is driving me crazy right now. Why can't I say?
Oh, the blood drawing people?
Yes. Oh, God.
Look it up. Google it.
Oh, I could probably spell it, but I can't. Anywho.
Was it phlebotomist?
Yes.
Phlebotomy or whatever. You know, the
Lord,
people
I
know
was
what
in the
you're talking
medical
about.
field for a long time, and I couldn't say phlebotomy. I couldn't think of it for the life of me. I could see the words, but couldn't say it. But anywho, we had to do 10 or 100 good draws, right? So that's stick the needle in and actually get blood. And she couldn't do it. And she got to the point where she actually tried to practice on herself. And when she went for a job interview, she had her transcripts, right? Like, yeah, I get straight A's. And the person straight up told her that those grades don't mean anything if you can't actually perform the job. So to me, it's better if you get out there and put your hands in and do some different type of learning, right? Instead of just learning how to take a test.
1,000%.
You get your GED. Okay. I mean, and then now you can get your GED anyway, anyhow. You know what I mean? Like from life experiences or whatever. High school diploma. You can just say you have a high school diploma. No one asks for
Nobody
it.
verifies
Yeah,
it.
no one says like, let me see that.
Not
Like,
anymore.
Never. I mean, where? What jobs? Now, don't
Back in
get
the
me
days.
wrong.
No, back in the
Don't
days
get me
you had
wrong.
to.
It depends if you have a real job, right?
What's a real job?
Well, when I applied to be a MRI technologist, or you try to go to school, right? Further your education.
If I'm a motivational coach,
No, then you don't need
you
it.
don't have a real job.
No, you do, but you don't need the education.
You
have
got a high
life
school
experience. Yeah. Your life experience is why you're up there. You know, that's how you made it to the stage that people know about you. You know, it's life experience is just as good.
Okay, I could definitely dig that. But you're absolutely correct. And we had a conversation with a buddy of ours. We talk about trade schools, right? So another form of education, which to me was the original modern education,
Yes.
is like trade schools was a big deal back in the days. Like, like there used to be commercials about, learning how to be a mechanic, working on diesel engines.
But there's still trade schools, but just not the
But
same.
how come they don't have the commercials about them no more? Like the marketing for them is not.
It's
as
like
big.
the Bry and what is it? What are all those things?
No, those are
the
trade
Merrick
schools.
and it's like, but it's for medical though, right?
No, yeah,
Because
but-
you only go to that school for certain things. No, like if you go to be a dental assistant.
Well, no, DeVry was different. Like DeVry University was like you could get your business administrator. Like that was like online school.
I thought that was like a business trade school.
Well, when we talking trade school, we're talking technicians. Like when you're, like I said, a mechanic or electrician or a
Not
plumber.
medical like that. That's not a trade school.
It's a trade school.
so
Yeah, but DeVry is not one of those.
I thought it was business trade.
No, business. What I'm saying is business is not a trade. You know what I mean? So even when you talked about the medical schools, that's the only in California. Those are the only ones that I see is like, and they don't never say go to school to be a doctor. They say go to school to be a medical assistant
Or a nurse.
Yeah, like that's glamorous, right?
Yeah.
So that education, go back to your point, that education is about doing things hands on versus stuff that memorizing and reciting and taking a test and getting an A on it. Like we always make fun of your doctor probably was a D student, right?
You don't know if your doctor is an A or a B or a D. You don't know.
But you take that motherfucker's advice.
Yeah, it's true.
But then you judge your mechanic if he tells you got to replace your rotors.
Yeah,
You
they be lying.
You be like, you trying to get me.
Doctors be lying too. They try to get your money. You know, especially if you have certain kind of insurances. Then your insurance pays for certain tests, and they're gonna run it. They're gonna be like, run it, and they're gonna pay for it. Yeah.
I feel like the education today is like, for me, is like, because the question I asked you was, should kids have an option in whether or not they should choose how they want to learn? Because one of the biggest things is how kids are taken into education today.
So wait, we're gonna ask a 5-year-old how they want to learn? I mean, what point do they have the choice?
When you get into that middle school, like when you be able to choose a school, because back in the days, I know in New York, we got to choose what high school we went to based off of what that high school was. Like there was a big ass book. It was like this thick, and if you're watching this, you see my fingers. Right? It was
about yay big,
about 4 inches. But it was a book of every high school in New York City, and then it broke down what that high school offered, broke down the staff. Like you had a choice. So I feel like when you get to that point of like, all right, what do I want to go after? And nowadays these kids could do that in middle school. Like if you talk to a 5th and 6th grader going into middle school, junior high school, they could pretty much tell you what's the best way that they learn. So maybe elementary could be a standard, but after that, there has to be different options. And to me, if you look at, all right, let's look at back in the days when kings and queens, actually taught princes and princesses how to be kings and queens.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, to me, that was the first original homeschooling.
Yeah.
Because they ain't go out to the regular with all the peasants. They ain't go out with the common folk. They learned how to be a king, and that was all they had to do every single day.
They were trained.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and they were trained by their mother or father and also by other people. That's true. That is very true. The School of Hard Knocks. How do you feel about that?
That's where I'm
That
from.
is traditional versus traditional education. It's like one of those things, right, where you kind of need to kind of go to that school, right? And sometimes you're forced into it. Like I was forced into it because I'm not that kind of girl.
What does that mean? Forced into the School of Hard Knocks.
I was born in the Valley, and then I went to Gary, Indiana for 6 years, and I was forced into the School of Hard Knocks because I didn't have any clue that there was this school. I didn't know what was happening, and all of a sudden I was a member, and it was horrible.
Did you have member fees?
Nah, and they took it at your ass. Apparently, if I didn't have it, then you got beat up or something. You know? But it was rough. It was very, very, very rough in Gary, Indiana. I had to learn how to fight. I never fought, and you know what I mean? Like I'd never done any of these things, and I never had to protect myself at school or worry about bullies or people talking about me or guys trying to get at me, and then you say no, and then they say like, fuck you. You're like, wait, what? Like I never had any of that experience in California. But again, I was from a different part of California. Not saying that California is not like that, because you guys know I was from a different part, always have been. We've gone up and down the coast, from Central Coast to, I mean, we've just been everywhere. So once I got to Gary, Indiana, it was like, oh yeah, this is where they had sock hops. It was like 25 cents to go in to dance. And when they danced, oh my gosh, they danced.
What the fuck is a sock hop?
A sock hop? You guys didn't have sock hops? It was like...
That sounds like some country shit. Motherfucker go to the party with socks on?
And then it was, what is it, like the Sadie's dance or something like that? When the girls ask the guys to the Sadie Hawkins dance or something like that?
No idea.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
In the School of Hard Knocks, we don't have stuff like that.
Oh, no. That was definitely the School of Hard Knocks, man. That was rough times.
Sock hops? Well, where I'm from, we had sneakers, so we didn't go outside with socks.
No, it wasn't. It's just called a sock hop. I don't know about the whole sock thing, but it was like 25 cents to get in, and it was a school dance, and it was after school.
Really?
But it was popping. I mean, it was like how Taisa, like how our daughter dances now. That's how we were. We were like freaking back then. Is this
middle school or high school?
This is middle school. This is right before high school. So we were freaking in there. I'm like, where are the teachers? It was so much fun. This is me, a young girl.
You were asking where the teachers while you were shaking your
ass.
Oh
man, no, I wasn't worried about it, but thinking about it now, I was just like, where are the teachers?
Where are the teachers at?
Yeah.
Shake it out.
This is my traditional education here.
At a sock hop.
Yeah, education was totally different when I got to Gary, Indiana.
So that's one of the cool things about going to traditional schools, right? It's like you get to be a part of the scene.
Yes,
right.
True.
And that's the social skills aspect. Granted, now I'm not saying that these new schools that are project based don't have that, right? But they're very analytical. I did a speech at one of these project management schools or project based schools here in San Diego, and super analytical children. I mean, like these kids was asking me questions that had me thinking. I was like, oh shit, like you're too young to even think about stuff like that.
I love it.
They're like, no, but I've been pondering about this for a few months now, and I want to know. And the way they speak to you, I want to know your take on it, because it's been one of the things I've been dealing with, and I'm trying to find out a solution. That's exactly what the kid told me, and I was like, damn. Impressive.
And I feel that it's a difference in how we speak to our children as babies. And I know, because I've seen people talk to their kids with very much patience and love and kindness and inquisitive, like, so why do you feel that way, little Johnny, right? And then I see little Derek, sit down, you're getting on my nerves. Shut up, don't touch nothing, don't say nothing, don't move. And then you see the other kids, and it's just like all over the place, and it's like, well, I want them to be creative, and I want them not to be in a box, and and I mean, I see this, and I know that little Johnny is going to grow up, he's going to think outside the box, right? But little Derek is going to be too scared to even jump on the box. He's not ever going to get outside the box because he's scared he's going to get spanked. His mom going to whoop him.
Probably because Derek jumped on the box too many goddamn times. Like
He's silly.
People always talk about talking to your kids certain ways. Like, hey, check this out. I told you once.
Nah, baby, little Johnny is jumping all on the box. You know what I mean? But his mom's all patient, just like, Johnny, I said don't do that. Why do you keep on doing that? Now you're gonna stand in the corner. Little Johnny get out the corner, stand on the box again. He goes back to the corner, but he always gets that chance, and he does get some kind of punishment, but he doesn't get whooped. Now, if little Johnny got his little butt spanked, he may not do it so many times.
That's a fact. Those are also the moms that feel like they're doing a bad job as a mom. I don't know what to do. He won't listen. I've heard those stories too.
Yeah.
He just keeps doing it. Well, sometimes you got to take aggressive action.
That's true. That's true. Traditional schools, I feel, helped out a lot when it came to raising our children. I always say as well, the teachers are an extension of us, right? So they help raise your children. When the kids were in preschool, they helped me to potty train, right? Because if they weren't with me all day, so it's like, hey, I'm doing what I do at home, but like in reality, 8 to 10 hours, 5 days a week, they're with this other person, so you have to depend on that education. And when it comes to traditional education, the skills that they pick up are from the teachers. What is it, like their little quirks or something, you know what I mean? Like you always remember, like, oh, I had this one teacher that did this, so their personality is what rubs off on the students.
1,000%.
They're not allowed to have their own personality or to explore. It's kind of like, what's the answer? The answer is red. It's never gray. It's never black. It's never white. It's red, Yeah,
1,000%. So when it comes to the difference between the two, there's always pros and cons, right? But between each one, because if I think about homeschooling, and in modern education, there's two categories of it. You got homeschooling, which means they never go outside. They're in the house for whatever, how many hours. And, we actually know people that are doing it. Great. And then you have these project-based schools that actually, it's not homeschooling, but this is their curriculum. But homeschooling compared to project-based school, there might be some shit going on in that homeschool that make you question, like that kid might need to go to a regular school.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you got extremists, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not calling out any particular culture, but I'm just saying no matter what, there's some type of extremist. So if you're not teaching your kids the very basic information that they need to be good and kind human beings, and you're homeschooling them, that kid could be anybody.
That's true.
You talk about picking up the habits or the quirks of a teacher. Well, shit, I'd rather that motherfucker than what's at home.
Than the parent. Yeah. That is so real.
And especially and unfortunately, I love you, Americans, but goddamn it, we got issues.
Yeah.
As a country. Like as a country, we have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And I can't hang my hat on just one way. So if it was a choice for me, I would say a kid would need a little bit of both. You need some traditional learning. You do need some modern learning, because for me, I feel like modern education is more experience based. So for me, especially as who I am today, I could give my kids, like my education to my kids never stopped. Right now, I would say my kid is in college with the information that I'm giving them, because now I'm giving them information that I wasn't giving them back when they were in elementary school. So they're forever learning. And that's the other thing about, education too. It doesn't stop. Like as I grow as a human being, I can't stop telling my kids or educating my kids. That's the thing too, is like telling and educating is two different things, right? I don't want to come across as like I'm telling you what's going on. It's like,
nah. They don't listen.
Exactly. This is experience share. Let me just educate you on this thing that I went through, and if you ever happen to go through it, at least you have the tools that you need
to get through
to make a sound decision.
Yeah.
That's my thing on that. My man Albert Einstein had a great quote though. Albert said, "Education is not learning of facts, but training of the mind to think." That's huge.
Yeah, I love that.
And when we was going through school, I don't feel like, and especially because of what I know and what I do today, I wasn't put in a situation to think. I was put in a situation to remember, and that's why I excelled. That's why
you have a great memory. That's why too.
Yeah, I skipped grades and all that other crazy shit. Is because I knew the system, and the system said remember X, Y, and Z, and you'll move forward.
And you're like, I can remember that.
Exactly.
You know what's cool about project-based schools as well is they always have some sort of community like integrated into their projects, and I love that. They have like service learning projects and stuff like that into their daily curriculum, and I think that's cool because it involves the community. So it's not like they just sit in the class, but they do things to make the world better, and I think that really matters as well. Will Smith says,
you should have told me about that. And you quote Will. God, are we okay with Will
that's
yet?
Funny. I don't know.
Is the world okay with Will?
I don't even know. But
he's about to come out with a couple new movies.
The things that have been the most valuable to me, I did not learn in school. Traditional education is based on facts and figures and passing tests, not on a comprehension of material and its applications to your life. And I believe that.
That's 1,000% true. Going back to what we said, it's like what you said, 100 sticks before you can make it. And then when you go get a job, I don't give a shit what that paper says. Can you do the job?
Yeah,
Can you build the house? You know, what's your experience like?
Yeah, you pass the test, you know, but can you actually do it? It's the same like with doctors. You pass the test, but how's your bedside manner? How is this, right?
Yeah, do you have the shaky hand?
Yeah, it's true.
All that shit matters.
Yep. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself, and that's what John Dewey says, and that's what I believe. The end of it. You need to learn how to count and certain things, you know, but there's other things that are really necessary, and that's life experiences.
That's what this show is all about.
Life and shit. Love you, baby.
Love you. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.